Hey guys, it's Conan, and today I wanted to make another talking topic video because of something I've seen around a lot on social media, and I really wanted to present a different point than that I haven't seen discussed on YouTube especially. But before I get into the topic, I'm just gonna quickly talk about the art you're seeing in the background. It's a piece of fan art for a video game that's called the Turing Test. It's a sci-fi Portal-esque puzzle game, and I think it's an incredible game because it contains a lot of talk about morals, and it also has those sick sci-fi aesthetics I'm here for. So I finally decided to draw some fan art. I'm doing everything in Photoshop CC, and I'm using OBS to record. So let's get to the topic. The thing I really want to talk about is video games and art, especially if playing a video game while also being a full-time artist is a waste of time. So, a bit of background information about me. As you may know from this, I do art videos, I have a webcomic, and I go to school at the moment for graphic design, but I will be starting school for game art and animation soon. So, I am a pretty busy person. Also, I'm trying to have a social life, which not always works out, but yeah. So, the general attitude towards video games I've seen on art YouTube especially is that they're a waste of time and you're not a good artist if you're playing video games. I see time and time again people just glorifying the fact that they just deleted all their games or sold their Xbox, and they put it up to be this heroic thing like, I'm sacrificing my hobby for art. But I think that's actually a pretty bad decision. And here are a few points why I think you should play video games if you are an artist. So first of all, most people say you have to get your inspiration from somewhere. Most people I've seen doing these video game deleting things have said they watch movies or anime to get their inspiration. But I think your time that you spend, like for example, if you watch Blade Runner, the new Blade Runner movie, it's 2.5 hours. In that time you could almost play a short video game. And I think your time is way better spent playing a video game because, okay, here are my points. Video games are incredibly creative. Most people don't consider how much engagement it takes to play a character-driven video game, especially games like Life is Strange, where you have to make decisions for the character. Basically, the whole game is based on you making decisions and taking chances, and it doesn't require a lot of skill, which is another excuse most people use. It's just way more engaging. So yeah, which also leads me to the point that especially RPG games are really good if you're writing a story with characters in it, because it's an easy way to examine because you're to a certain extent writing the character you're playing. If you're making all their decisions, like you can decide if they are a nice person, if they're a complete asshole. You can decide whether they're peaceful or murderous. So it gives you a very good baseline for writing your own characters from scratch. And especially MMORPGs, which I also play. I play Final Fantasy XIV, which I probably have mentioned before, and I just think there's this incredible thing because it leaves the backstory of your character completely blank. There is no backstory for your character when you start, so you have to make it up on your own, which especially on Final Fantasy Twitter, the characters of people are basically one of their OCs. They make up the character's personality, their backstory, they draw them. So I think it's a motivation to draw, because what if you don't want to draw your own characters? You don't want to think about your story for a bit, but you still want to be creative or want to draw something, and you don't want to just draw fan art. And yeah, you can just think about that character's backstory. I think it's just a no pressure situation, because it doesn't have to make sense within the story, because no one can police you, because it's just your headcanon basically that you have. The game story stays the same, but you can come up with so many more things about your character. Also, playing video games is way more social than watching an anime. Like, I don't get why people glorify movies and animes as this big source of inspiration and then say video games are a waste of time, because many artists, I think, struggle with being introverts, and it can be very liberating to just play with other people, like an MMO or any multiplayer game. It's like you get your dose of social, but you don't have to leave your desk. So yeah, another point is that the video game industry has a lot of jobs for artists. That's why I'm going to school for it. Well, also because video games are a passion of mine, but there are so many creative jobs in the video game industry that most people don't even consider. You have concept artists, you have people making the 3D models, people making the textures, people coming up with the lore, writing stories, writing dialogue. These are all things that are seen as incredibly creative when it comes to making of a comic book, making an animated TV series. But I don't see that many people on YouTube talking about wanting to be a concept artist for video games, even though it is such an incredibly creative thing. So that also baffles me. And if you've ever experienced art block, then you should seriously consider maybe trying video games out, because I don't really struggle with art block. But Conan, you may say, I don't have time. Well, I also don't have time, but I structure my days. I end my quote-unquote work day with everything I need to get done for school, YouTube, and comics at 5 p.m. 5 p.m. is basically my off time. After that, I work on various other art things I want to work on, or I play Final Fantasy or any other video game, because doing art all the time 24/7 is not healthy. You're gonna hate it. You're gonna burn yourself out. It can be an incredible relief to not have to think about art for an hour. No one says you have to get quote-unquote addicted to video games. You don't have to play for like 10 hours at a time. You can just play for 1 or 2 hours, and that's as much time as you would spend watching a movie. It's the exact same time, but you get so much more out of it for your creative expression, and you can learn a lot more from it. Video games have great examples of world building, even more than TV shows, because they're way more interactive. People look behind the curtain. So, to conclude this, what are my points? Well, I think we as artists, especially on the internet, should stop glorifying stopping video games, and we should also stop glorifying movies and anime so much, because one isn't better than the other. If you have tried it and you've decided video games aren't for you, well then, go ahead, that's your decision. But I'm incredibly sick of people just bashing one incredibly creative medium, while at the same time they say No, it's fine. I still get my inspiration from movies and anime. And I just feel like people value these passive media more than something where you could actually be active and learn new things and gain knowledge and examples of incredible world building. So my call to all artists is, please at least try it. If you don't like it, well, then you don't like it, but also don't bash video games. Don't get on your high horse because you don't play video games. You're a better artist than the rest, because you're not. You're cutting yourself off from a slew of possible inspiration. So yeah, if you disagree with any of my points, feel free to comment and we can have a civil discussion. And I hope you enjoyed my little rant and also the painting. I hope I'll see you in my next video. I'm trying to post once a week, preferably on Saturday, because the algorithm likes it when you post at the same time. So I guess see you next week, and if you have any questions or whatever, feel free to leave them below. Check my links in the description, and yeah, I'll see you later. Bye!